Why did I give Emio, the smiling man, Famicom Detective Club
I mean, it's alright, like...
I thoroughly enjoyed playing both The Missing Heir and The Girl Who Stands Behind. I didn't think these games sold well enough to receive a sequel, but boy was I glad to see that creepy announcement trailer. The Famicom Detective games are essentially visual novels that don't really require a great deal of work by the player. Instead, the real joy of these games come from trying to peel back each clue in an attempt to see the bigger picture whilst giving the illusion of control.
I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
In truth, I think I was more lenient with the first two games, as they had to be remade to be playable and interesting over 35 years later. Not only are the game's visual and sound design flawless, the flow and structure of this game definitely didn't lead me to deduce that they were originally made in 1988 and 1989. It's somewhat less impressive to make a game from 2024 seem like it was produced sometime in the past, just to be in line with the franchise. At least Emio does still have the beautiful art style and impactful ambient music, which puts you in and out of the eerie moments. Sometimes I had to stop from crime solving just to pause and take in the fine details on screen. I wasn't expecting them to reinvent the wheel, but just to add a few more options and maybe items to flesh out the problem solving. If you told me this was the third remake in the franchise, released for the Famicom in 1990, I would have believed you. I think the voice acting was good. I didn't understand a word of it, but it sounded very expressive and definitely adds to the moment. I think it goes without saying that an English voiceover would have not hit as hard and probably would have been goofy.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
That being said, I still would have liked the option of understanding the game I paid £50 for. I'll stop moaning about that now, as I'm just appreciative that this franchise has been localised for the West at all. But onto my main problem with the game, and that's the story. It just wasn't as engaging as the first two. I felt most interested and excited about the game after it was over, as after you complete the game, you get a bonus anime with the life of the killer that explains everything and brings it all together. But playing the game is a different story. For 11 of the 12 chapters, it really feels like you've turned up nothing. It feels like you've wasted your days interviewing the wrong people and chasing ghosts until everything ramps up to a very rushed, confusing Christopher Nolan-esque conclusion that left me with more questions than I had at the end of Tenet. Is this teacher a creep? Why wasn't I invited for food at the end of the game? Did all those involved face any consequences? How did this couple react to the conclusion? Why do I never charge my phone? Why are these kids dressing up as a local child murderer? Why is it so hard to find trailer footage for this game? Why hasn't this channel got millions of subscribers?
Why?
Fortunately, you're only a junior detective, so your actions are meaningless. Either the police or the senior detective you would have and do in fact solve the case regardless. It's kind of hard for me to figure out the intended age range for this game. As it's rated 18, it deals with hard topics like child abuse, murder, suicide and self-harm. But then at points the game treats you like a child in a school classroom, asking you questions to see if you are paying attention to the conversation that happened 2 seconds ago. Although the way the story progresses is a little bland, the characters here are not. I got really attached to certain characters and was praying that I wasn't about to be betrayed by any of them. I got really into the relationships my character had, the growing friendship with Dice, the breaking down walls with Kuzu, the awkward tension with Ayumi, and I laughed out loud at the competitive scene between me and Fukushima. Although I definitely had the last laugh when I flexed on him with my personal photo of Ayumi.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god.
Now I may have been disappointed with some aspects, but honestly I'm just happy that we received this unique trilogy of games. And if you like visual novels, I would recommend all 3 of these games. I do hope this franchise continues, and maybe we even get a remake for the unreleased Satellaview game, which I'm not going to try and pronounce. I believe this was only a few hours long, so it will need to be fleshed out with new content. But this seems like the perfect opportunity to use a safe foundation and add more interesting concepts to it. All I know is I need more Famicom Detective Club and more Ayumi.